Welcome back to Alchemy of the Dark Feminine with your host, Grace and Khan. Today, I'm going to share with you one of my visions that came through when I was doing my spiritual hygiene for the day. Now, I have the gift of being an oracle, which means I can have visions that happen 30 seconds from now. I can tap into visions from past lifetimes, transcend this reality and this current time, this current lifetime, on this planet, go off planet, go on this planet and go way back in time. I can go wherever and tap into my Akashic records as well as the Akashic records of other people as well. So anyway, I was going through my spiritual hygiene list where I have everything documented that I plan on working on. And right now I'm feeling this energy of career healing, like a major focus on healing generational wounds, unlearning trauma layers, and really allowing myself to level up in my career. And anyway, I had this vision come through when I read the one sentence on my notes app. It said, break generational and societal conditions around work. And so once I read that, this vision came through my third eye, and it was of my ancestors being slaves to the Anunnaki race and reptilian race in ancient Egypt before the pyramids were built. And then I heard a channeled message, this is how far back you will go in breaking generational and societal conditions and curses around work. Okay, I already have a channeled information coming through, so I need to mention this really quick. If you're brand new to this information, just hold your hats and just strap in. Really allow the frequency of the truth of the information that I'm sharing to vibrationally affect you, okay? And yeah, you will know if this information is for you. If you found this podcast episode, then this is for you, okay? So I just want to mention this little truth bomb that's coming through, which is the origin of humanity in the first place. We were created, so we're hybrid beings. We're actually not, I wouldn't consider us mammals. We were genetically created by other species off of this planet, specifically to mine for gold for this one species known as the Anunnaki. And there's like a whole history behind this. There's a really great psychic remote viewer. Her name's Elizabeth April. She goes into all of the different beings and their origins and their histories and all that. So if you're curious about that, I definitely recommend you going and searching up her content. But I'm just telling you what came through my channeled column or my channeling column. And I know I don't really talk about this information because I really talk about, how to break free from generational cycles and narcissistic abuse and other stuff. But this came through because this was attached to breaking generational cycles and trauma and curses. So I was just as shocked as you guys. So anyways, I want to talk about the healing around this generational curse and what can actually block you in your career. So if you were like me and you went through maybe a lifetime of narcissistic abuse, or you had a similar upbringing dynamic where you grew up in tons of chaos and dysfunction and you had no sense of healthy relationships, you grew up in poverty, you grew up in lack, right? Like you grew up below the poverty line. I grew up below the poverty line, trust me. All right, so this is potentially something that is manifesting in your lineage. This is connected to ancestral trauma. So funny because today I made a TikTok video about how I was picking up intuitively on healing ancestral trauma in my lineage. So crazy because I didn't even receive this channeled information yet until later on throughout my day. But anyways, my intuition is literally spot on. It's so crazy. But anyways, I want to read in order and keep this as organized as best as I can because I have a ton of notes everywhere. Okay, so there is this generational trauma, generational curse energy, societal condition energy of having your right to self-determination and freedom completely manipulated and limited on purpose. So I'm going to get into this as well. My little blurb that I wrote down. And so anyway, I wrote down the wound. It's called Healing Soul Sovereignty. So if you feel like you are out of control in your life, you feel like you don't have any control, you feel like you're not going anywhere, you kind of feel like you're at a loss in your career and you just don't know what your purpose is. Well, this is directly tied to this energy, okay? So I'm gonna get into it. It's all gonna make sense as it slowly unfolds. So then I wrote down underneath healing soul sovereignty, curses to break. So there's a deep wound around soul sovereignty, which means the right to self-determination and freedom. Self-determination is basically this energy of you claiming sovereignty, you claiming autonomy. Basically, you're establishing independence over yourself. You're saying, I don't need a religion to tell me how to think. I don't need somebody else's opinions and way of life to dictate mine. Like, I know I'm going to trust my journey, and I'm going to establish independence in my own thoughts and my own free will, and I'm going to live life by following my intuition, following my own inner moral code, and being a good person or a good individual, right? Like, you know what I'm saying? It's like you don't have this toxic codependent dynamic going on with something outside of yourself. So anyway, then I wrote down, in ancient times, these extraterrestrial races sought to strip people of their connection to their higher selves, forcing them into systems that suppress their true soul's purpose and freedom. Makes so much sense. How many of you are racking your brain about how you can get closer to having freedom in your bank account, freedom in your way of life, freedom in your time, freedom in your career, okay? And then you're like, what am I doing here? What is my purpose? Why the fuck am I on this planet, right? Anyway, so then I went into the healing aspect of it. So then I wrote down, breaking the generational curse of having your soul's expression manipulated or limited is key. And so for me, my generational curse was having my soul's expression being limited, all right? Which, as a Sagittarius, let me tell you how frustrating that feels, like, to the core of my existence. I need expansion. I need freedom, right? Like, I need autonomy. I need independence. That's how I thrive. And Jupiter, the planet Jupiter, rules my, what is it called? My zodiac sign anyway. So that's the planet of expansion. So just imagine feeling like restrictive energy, limited energy, and something that feels, what do I want to say? Like, it feels more natural to be expansive and constantly expand and branch out. It doesn't feel, it feels unnatural to feel limited. So anyways. Okay, and then I wrote down underneath that, need to reclaim my soul's unique mission, purpose, and direction, free from external control or suppression. So this could look like somebody trying to tell you how your life is supposed to play out, or, you know, they've got everything taken care of and all you have to do is go to college and do this, that, and the third, and then you're going to be set for life, right? Because in their minds and their reality, they feel like they were set for life, when really they're still slaves to the matrix. They still have to go somewhere and clock in and work under somebody else and rely on somebody else's money, right? Like, in the way that it's like outside of yourself, like you're not in a flow state, you're not creating and generating your own income through doing what you truly authentically love, if that makes any sense. Now, I will say this, I will say that you can live a happy life in the matrix, like you can live an authentic life in the matrix, but I will say there are different levels of freedom that you can experience in this lifetime, and for me, I want to experience ultimate freedom. Like, I don't want to clock in. I don't want to rely on the matrix. I want to be out of the matrix and reach people in the matrix and help them heal and help them escape and create autonomy and sovereignty for their lives and everything else. So, yeah, if your soul is okay with that certain level of freedom inside the matrix where you're making 100K and, you know, you're okay with having paid vacations, well, you know, that's your soul's journey. That's not my soul's journey, all right? This is for the souls who are looking for total sovereignty, all right? Like, you are looking to access total self-determination and total freedom in all aspects of your reality. So, anywhoosies, let's keep it moving. And then I wrote down action. So, what are the different steps of action that you can take to help heal from this generational curse, this generational cycle, and the way this ancestral trauma is manifesting in your soul, okay? So, you can practice things such as soul retrieval, shadow work, or deep meditation to reconnect with your higher self. So by embracing, this was the message for me, by embracing my soul's sovereignty and encouraging others to do the same, you contribute to the collective healing of humanity's relationship with self-determination. So interesting. So I did this energy healing on myself, And I ended up having to call back 3 fragments, 3 different parts of my soul that got lost due to past trauma, due to ancestral trauma. And each part that I called back, I kept getting visuals. It was so cool. I'm trying to remember what the first visual was that I got. I think it was, yeah, I'm pretty sure. I just did this a couple hours ago. So the first visual that came from the first part that I called back was this visual of myself, so like an old past lifetime version of myself, where I was this Egyptian woman and I was doing some kind of like, what is it called? Priestess work, I guess, like super high vibrational energy healing work. And I was onking my energy. I was onking my sexual energy to manifest, to heal, to live longer. Like, it was really cool. And I was using it for good, and I was actually teaching others how they could do that for themselves as well. And then I called back the second part of my soul fragment that got lost, and then I saw like a hallway like inside the pyramids. Okay, this is crazy. I'm trying to think. I want to kind of channel which pyramid it was. So I guess it's like the back left pyramid if you're like looking at the normal pyramids, so like the back left one. I don't know. Anyways, I just asked that question, but I was walking in a hallway where I saw a bunch of like the pretty ancient hieroglyphics on the wall where it had like the little eye, and it was just so pretty. Like the colors were so vivid, and it was just beautiful. Like it was beautiful inside that hallway. And I just got like a quick visual of all the different hieroglyphics that were on the wall. And then the third fragment that I called back was trippy. I saw this tablet almost. I want to say it was like almost like a shield, but tablet was the word that like originally first came through, and it had like 12 gemstones, like 12 crystals in the tablet. And I still am not entirely sure what it was for. I know it was used for healing, especially different ailments, but I don't know, there was like some kind of like consciousness to it. It was something like really cool. It's a really powerful healing tool. But anyways, that was all that I got access to with that. And what else? Oh yeah, this is interesting. So there were some dark entities that were attached to that wound, and also in the chakra healing that I did as well. So I had to do some entity clearing to fully heal from that generational trauma cycle and generational curse. And the coolest thing was when I was doing my energy healing, I got a visual of a pure white light column / like funnel thing. And it was just intense white light energy like hitting the top of my crown chakra on the top of my head. After I removed one of the layers, it was so crazy. I was like, because the whole intention is to reconnect back with your higher self and reclaim that spiritual sovereignty, right? Like you want to claim that soul sovereignty, so that way you're not feeling like you have to go and read a book, or you feel like you have to rely on a church system, like an old outdated religious system here on this planet. Like you can actually rely on your own wisdom, like your own soul's wisdom, your own soul's history, your own soul's gifts, right? Like you don't need a book outside of you telling you what to do. You don't need to seek external validation on what you need to do or what you need to look for. Like you can just seek that within yourself and rely on yourself, because you already have all the answers within. Every single one of you does. So anyway, and yeah, that was the energy healing that I did for that today. It was pretty intense, pretty cool. And I wanted to share that with you guys. I wanted to share with you something totally different, and something that I think I talked about interdimensional beings in like one of my podcast episodes back in 2023, so like 2 years ago. But yeah, this was actually a pretty cool lifetime, that I tapped into today. That actually like came through as a vision. It was pretty cool. So yeah, usually I get visions of crazy things like weather and accidents and like future timelines getting ready to play out. Like, I don't know, it's just pretty crazy. So it's pretty cool to have like a unique vision of seeing something that was involving non-human species, if that makes sense, and also how that gets integrated with our human history as a collective, and also on an individual level, and also bring you clarity and hopefully answers as to why there is no movement in your career. There is no movement in certain aspects of your life within freedom and self-determination, and these potentially are your blocks. So just wanted to shed light on that truth, and yeah, let that information sink in. It's very high vibrational, so it might go past your conscious mind the first time you hear it. So definitely replay this podcast at least twice. And yeah, if you're feeling called to work with me one-on-one and you're ready for some massive transformation in your life, I do offer my Sacred Alchemy sessions. They're about 90 minutes long and they're very limited. I only offer a few of them during the week since I no longer do my one-on-one in-person sessions anymore. So yeah, if you're looking for me to work with you and remove these crazy blocks that you have no idea where they're coming from, and you need help accessing certain pieces of information to endure massive transformation in all aspects of your life because you're ready on a soul level to reach those next levels of success, those next levels of freedom in your life and your bank account and your career and your living situation, then definitely reach out. Check out my link. It should be posted in the podcast notes below, but I will post my link tree in the description as well, so it'll take you directly there. And you can book your one-on-one session with me if you're feeling called on a soul level to do so. So anyways, thank you guys so much. That was all I had for you today, and I will see you guys in the next episode for next Wednesday's deep dive. Bye for now.